What is up, Knife World? Alex here, bringing you another video. This one is my 2-month update on my 365-day Jeremy Marsh Vanquish Carry Challenge. When I upload this, it will be 2 months. I'm filming this a day or two early. Don't tell anyone. So this is kind of going to be a two-part-ish video where the first part, I'm going to talk about my thoughts on the knife as of now. And for the second part, I'm going to talk about how do I care for my knives, and we'll talk about that later. So, getting right into it, what do I think of the Jeremy Marsh Vanquish now? Still love it. I gotta say, action is still to die for. He's got, man, I feel like it's only got better. Like I had predicted, stonewash clip, and kind of a user grade finish. Man, I feel like my lighting's making that look pretty dark. It's a little bit lighter in person. It's been great. I don't worry super hard about carrying this knife. It's actually been kind of relieving to not think about grabbing a knife. When I load up for the day and I'm putting the phone in the pocket and the keys in the pocket and the knife in the pocket, it's the Vanquish, it just is. And I kind of like that. I mean, I like having variety. I feel like I have a collection that suits me well. And, I have plenty of great choices, but it's easy. It's a little freeing to not think about it at all. I just drop it in the pocket. We're off to the races. Let's talk about the blade a little bit. I had mentioned when I first introduced the video, or when I first introduced that I was going to take a shot at it, satins aren't my typical jam, and I'm gonna stand by that. They're not, but this one has been holding up pretty good. I don't have a bunch of huge cross streaks. I have used it. Like I said, I use my stuff. I wouldn't say I hard used it, which I had made that disclaimer that if I have a carpet cutting task or something, I'm going to use the right tool for the job. I'm not into beating up my knives unnecessarily. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it thus far. I intend that I'll wear into that eventually, and that's just part of it. And yeah, I get there when I get there. You can see, if you look real close, you can see maybe a little bit of wear on the tip, and it goes in kind of a diagonal direction. You can kind of see it in the light there. And that kind of leads me to some of my user experience. I use the tip a lot for this particular knife. It has a pretty good tip for like getting access to corners of boxes and stuff. So that's just where I find myself using it. I don't feel myself going to the center of the blade and cutting through things very often, at least not yet. I do have a big move coming up, and the knife is going to be in the pocket. To me, that's a good knife, this is a good custom knife task. Oops, sorry for bumping the camera. It's different than cutting carpet is opening boxes. Opening boxes, fair game. Carpentry work, not fair game. Just for me personally. So we'll see. We will see how it holds up. But thus far, the blade shape has been very user-friendly. I've been happy with it. Jeremy puts a great edge on there. Speaking of Jeremy, I actually got to chat with him at the New Orleans Knife Invitational hosted by Slice Fine Cut. He brought a couple of knives. I didn't win any from him, unfortunately, but I caught him in the after show, hanging around with a couple of makers and a couple of collectors in the scene. And I got to chat with him a little bit, and dude is super cool. Obviously, in the show, 1,000 people are touching his knives. He's making sure that he gets to talk to everybody and say hi and stuff. And it's hard to get any maker's attention. But when you get to sit down with them after the show and just kind of chit-chat about knives and life and whatever else they're into, I think Jeremy's also into long-distance shooting and a couple of other things. I think he's a bit of a motorhead. I think he's got quite a few motorized vehicles in his garage and such, which just kind of fun things he likes to tinker with. But he told me about the knife that he made to cut his wedding cake, and then he based it off of Stan Wilson's advisor. And I got my non-flipper flipper back from a little spa from Stan. So he got to tinker around with that, and I guess he had not seen one before, maybe not handled one, and he was pretty amused with that. The non-flipper flipper is always a big party trick, because it's kind of fun for makers to think about how it works and stuff. And most collectors that are in the high-end knife world kind of know what it is, so it's fun for them to get to see it if they haven't. Or a lot of them have owned one and have parted with it since then. I had also been in that boat, so they get to kind of relive the glory a little bit there. So it was fun. Point being, Jeremy's a really cool dude. He's super down to earth. I really like talking to him. And it makes me like enjoy supporting his work even more. I feel like he's a really ethical maker. I haven't personally ordered anything from him. I'm sure his books are closed. I didn't ask. I should, maybe before I post this video. Kidding. But it seems like he's a good dude, and I that makes me want to buy his stuff more. I think when you buy a knife, you also buy into the maker, and I definitely have knives that I don't care how great they are. I don't care if the action would blow my socks off. If the maker is too difficult to work with, or, you know, whatever the deal is, I am out. I am not doing it. And there's been a lot of cheap knives that I'm sure are awesome, but because I'm not dealing with the maker, or I just don't like how they do business, or whatever the deal is, not me. I'm out. Where's the door? And it's nice to know that Jeremy does not fall into that boat, at least not in my experience. I haven't heard anything from any other people, so that makes me feel good about this knife and about supporting Jeremy. Okay, so that's kind of the knife. Like I had said, it's been holding up great. I don't notice any weird hotspots. Still easy to use. I explained how I've been using it, show you how it's holding up. Yeah, you know, it's going well. I've enjoyed it, and I'm gonna keep cruising on. And like I had mentioned in some of my other videos, I have bought 2 knives, or traded into / bought 2 knives, since I have committed to doing this challenge. So, you know, even some of those knives I've struggled to not put into the pocket. Some of them I want in my collection, but I don't feel the need to carry them right now. But I think that speaks to how good the Marsh is. It's been keeping me happy, and I've gotten newer things since then. So that should tell you about how I feel. Okay, we made it through that. How do I care for my knives? So here's my disclosure. I am not sponsored by anybody. Nobody's writing me a check. Nobody's giving me anything for free. I don't own any parts of these businesses. My opinion is my own, and nobody's telling me otherwise. If that changes for whatever reason, I'll be open and honest about it then. I've tried a bunch of different products. You know, probably not all of them. And new products come out. I still have, you know, old products that I'm still using. I've used Tough Glide. I've used Aegis EDCI, which is their hard saltwater resistant one. I've used various corrosion inhibitors and various lubricants. I kind of put them in different categories. I know a lot of lubricants say they're protectants, and protectants say they can be used as lubricants. To be blunt, I just don't use them that way. I've used Tough Glide as far as lubricant and corrosion prohibitive goes. I've used Tough Cloth, and I've used like the silicone dropper. It did fine as far as corrosion prevention. I don't remember anything notable out of that, but I did not care for it as a lubricant. Its claim to fame was that it kind of went to a dry film, which as it cured, which kept the knife protected and kept dust from collecting on the wet lubricant, which sounds like a good idea, but excuse me. I found that when I actually used it, sorry for bumping the camera, I found that when I actually used it, it kind of felt like it got gritty, and I just didn't love it. It felt like I was always re-lubing, and at first I was like, man, maybe this is just not a good idea, blah, blah, blah. and I switched around a couple of lubricants, and so I ended up not caring for Tough Glide too much. I haven't tried all of them. I know they have more than one product, so I'm not trying to blanket all of their products into one. I'm not trying to say they're bad, but how I was trying to use the product didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. I went on to something else. Let's talk about what I moved to next. You have probably seen this before. I am not the first person to talk about nano oil. I've heard other people talk about it like it's just mineral oil. I have no idea what it is. I think it is said to be food safe, but it's not FDA approved. This stuff works pretty well. It keeps the knife lubricated well. I don't feel like it attracts dust unnecessarily, but I don't particularly have super dusty environments. I don't eat off of my pocket knives blades, so whether it's food safe or not really isn't a factor for me, but maybe if you do some research and you're willing to trust it, I guess that's something to consider. Again, I don't know that it's past FDA or what the deal is. I don't know the people who make this, and I'm making speculations about its composition based on its color, and point being, I like this stuff. It works well. I'm into it. I've had the heavier weight too, but funny enough, this tube broke on the other one. I guess it was too brittle, and I squeezed on it too hard to get the lubricant out of that like pin needle applicator, and it broke. So threw it away, unfortunately, but still have the 10 weight. I use this one more. The other one, the 10 weight, I felt like it did good on like detent balls. I didn't use it a whole lot on pivots. I don't really disassemble my knives to use it. I just kind of take the pin needle applicator, close the knife, and I put a drop on this side, I put a drop on that side, and I let the knife sit like this overnight. If you put too much on there, it'll run across the blade because the blade's usually facing down, so it'll run down the blade like that. I wipe the blade clean, good to go. I flip it a lot. The nano oil, I feel like it works pretty quickly. Like after 10, 20 flips, it's worked into all the pivots. And after, I don't know, it lasts a while. Like I don't feel like I have a defined lifespan on it. I'm sure it depends on how often you use your knife, how often you carry your knife, how dusty your environment is. There's a bunch of factors that go into when you might need to clean it out and reapply. I don't feel like it ever dries out. Can't say I ever experienced that personally, so to me, nano oil was a win. I have recently picked up this KPL, the knife pivot lube, as you can see, and this one I got in the multi-pack, so they've got the original formula there, they've got the ultralight formula, and they've got the heavy. As far as I know, excuse me, the difference is basically just the weight. I just started trying these, and I have an opinion, but I'm still fresh to them, so take that with a grain of salt. This stuff I have years of experience with, so I feel pretty good about talking about how much I like this as far as performance goes. These have a candy-like smell to them when you first apply them. Personally, that's not really a selling point for me. I don't care about that. It's like a faint smell. It's not like a cologne or a perfume or something where you smell it across the room. It's just like if you smell it, like it gets on your hands or whatever, you can be like, oh, okay, that kind of smells like candy or whatever the deal is. I do find that the smell wears off after a couple of weeks, and it starts to smell more like a garage lubricant, like a grease or something. But like, it's not like I'm holding the knife in my hand, my face is a foot and a half away from it. I don't smell it. Like, you have to be like actively looking to smell it in order to smell that. But I do feel like the smell goes away. That's what I'm trying to say. Honestly, the smell is not a selling point to me at all. I think the reason they chose to do that is because people whined about the smell of like Tough Glide or something, which had a pretty strong smell that I don't think most people considered pleasant. So I think they were trying to be a competitor that did something differently. Wouldn't say nano oil has a smell, so no opinion there. So I guess if that bothered you, maybe this is a little easier for you. It doesn't bother me. I don't care about that. It's not a selling point for me. This stuff works a little bit differently than the nano oil, in my opinion. When I put it on, I wasn't as blown away by the nano oil. I mostly use the original. I think I've touched the other ones, but I'm using the original for the most part. They have a little piece of paper here in the back that It has instructions as to why you would use each one. You can find their YouTube channel or website if you are like curious about why you'd use one or the other, or how it works, or this, that, or the other. My take on it is that it doesn't work quite as well as the nano oil the second you put it on. I feel like the nano oil, you immediately feel it free up, the blades flying out, feels great. This stuff, for me, it felt like it took a couple of days of medium light flipping in order to feel like there's a difference to it. But once it's like worked in there, it feels pretty good. Like, so this is currently running the KPL, and I did run it on nano oil too. And I'm happy with the action. It doesn't feel gritty. It's smooth. It's fast. It says it's corrosion resistant. My knives don't really get wet, so I don't have a lot of opinion on that. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. If you have experience with that, I guess let me know. But so far, so good. I don't know the milliliters on these bottles. 10 milliliters. What's this? I don't see. I don't know. Value, I don't know. They're pretty closely priced. I think these are 17 bucks if you buy the one, more than that if you buy all three. I think these are also 17, 18 bucks. So as far as I'm concerned, they're competing in the same price. They're both good. I like them both. I would definitely recommend these as far as things that are pivot lubricants that I like. I don't really take my knives apart. Maybe if you do, you have a preference one over the other, but that's just what my opinion is. Okay, now I told you that I kind of put the pivot lubricants and the corrosion prohibitive in different categories. I use these for preventing corrosion resistance on my knives. I think I first received these when I purchased a Wilson Combat firearm. I'm not going to talk about that. That's not what I want this channel to be about. But I got them because they kind of leave a film over the blade, and it keeps them from developing corrosion. Silicone's also kind of water hydrophobic, so that helps. Full disclosure, I do not think I would use this if you cut fruit or whatever with your knife and then eat off of it. I do not think that silicone is good to eat. I'm not a doctor, so take that with a grain of salt. But point being, there might be a better choice if you need it to be food safe. So do your homework, find something that's FDA approved and rock with that if that's how you use your knives. I already said that's not how I use my knives, and so this stuff works fine. I mostly am using this for storage. I hate getting spots on my blades or stains from any kind of water. I don't store my knives wet. I'm not using them in the rain. I'm not doing any of that. I still get spots on my blades every now and then. Drives me up the wall. Mostly that's with non-corrosion preventative steels. CPM 154. Not really worried about it, to be honest. Never had any issues with CPM 154. Don't hear about people complaining about CPM 154. It's more like 3V, or if you use 1095, something like that. Like that to me is a high risk for getting corrosion. This stuff works fine. I use this on all of my knives when I'm storing them, and I wipe this one off, I don't know, once a week or something. I wipe it down. I'll kind of show you how it works just for giggles because it's been about a week since I wiped it down. But if you see me pulling knives out of my case for a video and they look like they're greasy, it's probably because that's what this is. And you'll see, it leaves a thin coat. It makes the knife a little shinier. You can see it's kind of got some sheen to it. And that is how it works. You're done. So this kind of prevents water from sticking around. I think it cleans up the blade a little bit, leaves a nice little film on it. Now, I gotta be honest, I just leave this stuff on there, and as it wears off naturally from being in the pocket or getting used or whatever, I kind of just let that go. It does collect dust. So if you can't stand dust on your blades, man, maybe that's not the product for you. But for me, the priority is keeping rust off of my blades, and it works fine. And that's how you use it. It's as simple as that. These are pretty cheap. I got this one off Amazon. There's a bunch of people doing these silicone cloths. It's basically silicone infused into the cloth. I don't know. Like I said, I've used other things. This stuff works fine to me. There are some corrosion prohibitive tools that I didn't like, and I didn't think they did a good job. This one's been fine for me for now. So is it the best one? I don't know. There might be better ones, but this stuff works for me. This is what I use. This is what works for me. I've carried this for 2 months. This is the setup that I've been running on it. I'm happy. This is the setup I've been running on my knives in my storage case. I'm happy. I don't really intend on switching away from this anytime soon. So that's kind of currently what I, excuse me, that's what I recommend right now. And, you know, if you have something else that you really like and that you'd swear by, drop it in the comments. I'm always interested in trying something that's new and great. And, I don't know, maybe if I'm convinced, I will give it a shot. And that is all I have for you today. So I want to thank you for stopping by, enjoying catching up on the marsh, and enjoy talking to you about some of the things that I have used successfully for my knife care maintenance. So have a good one, everybody, and take it easy.